Welcome back to another episode of the Black Excellence Club podcast. My name is Sikudhani. I am your host, and I am on a journey from unknown to unforgettable. And this podcast is a part of my journey from unknown to unforgettable. So, thank you for being a part of my journey. Um, Let me just say this: this is an impromptu episode. I was supposed to be interviewing someone today, but technology did not want to work for us today. So I decided I'm not gonna just not do anything because I was thinking of doing an episode by myself again anyway. So here it is. The topic of the episode today is going to be investing. Sorry, you may not have heard that. Investing. So the reason I'm gonna be talking about investing is because I posted something on Instagram and I did it as a flex because it was straight up a flex. Like, let me clarify. This was in 2021. It was not this year because I don't. This is the reason why I don't post things. Like same day, same So this was in 2021. So in 2021, I saved over $20,000 within a 5 year period, and that was from um like my side jobs type thing, like my part time jobs. And so over 5 years, I saved $20,000 from my part time jobs. So and I was going to buy a house that fell through, so I no longer needed 20K to be sitting in an account. So I was like, well, let's invest it. So instead of me doing a transfer, I was like, nah, I'm gonna withdraw this from the bank because I don't know anyone that can say I've withdrawn $20,000 from the bank. So that's what I did. Like literally, like I said, it was just straight a flex. I can say I have withdrawn 20K from the bank. Come at me. Like, so that's what that was. That's what the post was about. And then I also put a tweet that I had put up for this year, which was I will be investing a minimum of $20,000 this month. This year, sorry, not this month. I will be investing a minimum of $20,000 this year, aka 2023. So, sorry, excuse me. You may be asking, like, how are you going to do that? Like, how? $20,000. That's a lot of money. Like, how are you going to do that? Well, let me break it down very easy for you and as to how I will do it. And then I'll talk about how ways that you can too. So for me, I started investing back in 2016, I wouldn't believe 2016, 2017. I started, but I never finished. Like I started and I didn't keep going, if that makes sense. So I shouldn't say I didn't keep going. I was inconsistent. Inconsistent is the word. I was very inconsistent. So I was doing it sporadically. However, in 2019, like the end of 2019, I started taking it a little more serious. So I started, they putting aside like $100 to $200 a week or something like that towards just investing. So 2020 came along and said, no, we can't do this part time investing nonsense. Like we need to create something that's gonna be consistent, and it will be the same thing every month. So starting, I got to the way I started was I got to a number of what's something that I can afford that's not gonna make me feel like I have no money. First off, what are you doing with this money anyway? Right? Like what are you really doing with this money? Because it's money. Money is money, right? If it's there, you're just gonna spend it. So I had to stop and think, like, what? How am I spending my money? So ultimately, it came down to this is what I spend every month on my expenses, like my rent, internet, electricity type thing. That's how much we're gonna invest. So basically, I just doubled my expenses. So at the time, my expenses were, I want to say around 1,200, 12 or 1,300 per month. That's what my monthly expenses were. So that's what I did. I can't remember the exact number I put aside per week. So give me a second. Um, so I was putting aside $300 a week. So, and I did that for all of 2020. all of 2020, $300 per week. And I wasn't buying all at once. I was buying at different times. And then also in 2020, I also created a brokerage account outside of Bermuda. So for that, I needed $5,000 to start. So with that being said, instead of investing the 5,000 into the Bermuda Stock Exchange, which is where most of my investments are, Bermuda Stock Exchange. I was like, okay, so for X amount of time, I can't use this money for that. I need to use it. I need to save it so that I can start my US investment portfolio. So that's what I did. I did that in 3 months. 3 months, you could save 5K if you save $300 a week. I know everyone doesn't make the same amount as I do, so it may take longer for you, it may take less time for you, but it is possible. Don't think because the bank says you need to start with this amount that you can't get there. You have to change your mindset. Change your mindset to be like, okay, how can I do this? Not, oh, I can't do this. So the question you should be asking yourself right now, because if this is particularly for Clarion Bank in Bermuda, you have to start with a minimum of $5,000. So, question that you need to ask yourself and not say to yourself. So, don't say this to yourself. Do not say, "Oh, well, I can't save $5,000." Don't say that. The question you need to ask yourself is, "How can I save $5,000?" And then create a budget. Literally, you need a budget because if you don't have a budget, it's not gonna work. Straight up, point blank, it ain't gonna work if you ain't got a budget. So look at your finances, look at how much you make, and look at how much you spend. Look how much you save, and go from there. That's the easiest way to start. I just definitely went off on a tangent, but I'm gonna keep going. So basically, I started that account. So this is all in 2020. So I started that, and then I was doing both. So now every month I was switching as to which place my money was going. So 1 month it would go to Bermuda Stock Exchange. The other month I would transfer it to my US account, and yeah, I was transferred to my US account. So it's going either or, either or, either or. And that's what I did for all of 2020. So here comes 2021. And like I said, I was going to buy this house. So I had 20K saved as like my down payment type thing, as a start to my down payment, I should say. And then that fell through. So I was like, you know what? We gonna invest this. So this is where me withdrawing the money came from, is because I needed to move it to a different bank so I can actually make the transfers to buy what I needed to buy for my investments. So with that being said, me doing that, I invest for my US brokerage account. I invested 20K. I'm telling you, 20K is my number, guys. I invested 20K in about 10 months. 10 months, 20K into that account. I can prove it to you. If I can find a screenshot, I'm gonna drop it on the screen so you can see that I literally put $20,000 into it, and I can tell you when it started and when it ended. So basically, lump sum of that came from the 20K that I withdrew from the bank. I think it was only like seven. I feel like it was in like 7,000 of that I needed to make it to like 20K. So consistency. I'm gonna just put that out there, consistency. Because like I said, 2021, I started with 5K, and then every other month, 1,200. 1,200. So yeah, 1,200 every other month, 1,200. So 6 months of 1,200 is what? Pull out the calculator again, because I'm not embarrassing myself. Actually, it would have been a little less than that. Yeah, that's right. Because if I remember correctly, I think I actually started saving that 5K in 2019. So I started the account in 2020. I can't remember the exact time, but basically by the end of 2021, it had like a minimum of like 7,000 type thing. Sorry, a message just came through. So yeah, so basically in 2020, by believe it was because I started the account in March in 2020. So before March of 2021, no, my dates are all the way off. Take it, relax, shorty, relax. Talking to yourself at this point. Sorry. Um, I didn't start the account until July or something like that of 2021. I had the money since March, but I didn't start it until I want to say about July of 2021. So basically, by March of 2020, 2022, because my years again, this is 2023 now, I keep getting mixed up. By March of 2023, I had 20K in that account. Right now, it doesn't look like 20K because the stock market's dropped, but at the end of the day, I know that I put $20,000 into the account, and I'm proud of that. So I think 20,000 is low key my number when you put it that way. So now let's just talk about investing in general. Think did I? So the rest of that 20K that I withdrew, I put towards the Bermuda Stock Exchange. Just so that's I think that's it for the 20K. That's what I done with it. It was I think it was more than 20K ultimately. So the other bit I just put towards a vacation because you gotta treat yourself. Like if you do the work, you have to treat yourself. So let's talk investing. What got me into investing? Ooh, that's a good question. Um, I was just like looking at different things of how can I make money without doing anything. And investing is 1000% the easiest way to do it if you do dividend stocks. For me personally, I believe that's the easiest way to consistently make money by doing absolutely nothing. Um, and when it comes to dividend stocks, you have to stay consistent because if you don't stay consistent, it's not going to make you any money. And I believe that's the realization that I had is because I was getting these payouts, but they weren't growing. Like it was the same amount each time. Just like, well, that ain't nothing. So how can I make it better? And then I figured out how to make it better. So I started putting money into it consistently. So in 20, I don't know what year it was, guys, because my year's all messed up at this point. But basically, I upped it from 1,200 per month to 1,600 per month. So now I do 400 per week. $400 a week, I invest. So this goes back to me saying I'm going to invest a minimum of $20,000 this year. When you go on your calculator and put 400 times 52, because it's 52 weeks in the year, that is $20,000, $20,800. So by the end of the year, that's how much I will have invested. And that will be, and this year I think I'm only going to do the Bermuda Stock Exchange. And the reason for that is because no taxes, first off, because the Americans take too much taxes from that account, from my little dividends that I do get. So, side note. But yeah, so first thing is no taxes. Two, dividends come every 6 months. And I want to get it to a certain number, if that makes sense. So I had a goal when I first started. It's like, okay, excuse me, I need to get 5,000 shares in each company that I own. That was my goal, but I didn't have the money for that because it's not cheap. Like it's not. And then one company that I was buying into decided to come off the stock exchange, so I stopped. So I think with them I have like 1,100 shares, but I could have 5,000. But it's okay because guess what? They pay dividends. So every 6 months, I receive money off of my little 1,100 shares. That equates to, it's been consistent. Well, it's always going to be the same number depending if their dividend percentage goes up or down. But it's been very consistent. It's been, so what I noticed is it seems like in the second half of the year, because it's May and November, in the second one they double the amount, they double the percentage, like it's like a bonus type thing. So it's always more in November. So with that being said, it's what 150 and then like 350, 375. That's almost $500 doing nothing. Absolutely not a good. Absolutely nothing. Literally, because I can't even buy into that company anymore. So it's just money I get. Like, could you imagine just getting $500 every year doing absolutely nothing? Seriously, think about it. Think about it being $10,000 a year doing absolutely nothing. Like, you have to think of the big picture. So that's one of the companies. That is One Communication. I'm gonna say it because it's One Communication. This is Bermuda. I'm trying to help my Bermudians on how to invest. Like I said, you can't even buy into one anymore. So if you got in, you in. You can sell your shares, if you want. But they started paying dividends, so I had no reason to sell them. Because now, and also like right now with one, I don't know the price of their share either. So like, I believe when I was buying them, they were like $3 and something cents, maybe $3 or $4 and something cents. So now that they're off the stock exchange, it's quite possible it's going up. And the reason I say that is because when they were on the stock exchange, they weren't paying dividends. One, two. Now that they're not on there, they are paying dividends consistently, and then at the end of the year, they're giving you double. Like, the price has to have gone up. So even though the amount that I put into it to get my 1,100 shares, it's gonna be worth more when I decide to sell them. So that's where the investing thing comes in. So now I'm making $500 every year, and then when I decide to sell it, it's gonna be worth more than what I initially put in for it. So it's a win-win to me. Um, Okay, that's enough about One Communication. So the other two companies that I am a shareholder in, that I own. Let's clarify. Once you buy a share, you own a portion of that company. Okay, so they have meetings. I don't go to them, but they have meetings. Shareholder meetings is what they are called, and you can go and vote for yes or no of different things about the company. Ownership, guys. Ownership. I'm just gonna say that you own a piece of the company. If you own one share, you own something. I'm pretty sure most of y'all are seeing. Is it Happy Gilmore? No, it's not Happy Gilmore. It's the other one. Ooh, I'm pretty sure y'all are seeing that Adam Sandler movie where he finds out this rich guy is his daddy, blah blah blah, and he went and bought one share and outvoted everyone else. I'm pretty sure you'll. I can't remember the name of the movie right now, but I'm pretty sure you've seen it, and this is what I'm talking about. This is basically what I'm talking about right now. So yes, you own a piece of the company. So the other two companies that I have are Argus Insurance and BAS. BAS, it's a group of companies. I can't remember exactly everything that's inside of that group of companies, but I know it has something to do with the airport and something else and something else. I can't remember. I did my research prior, but I haven't kept up with my research. Okay, just being honest. And with this company, like, I'm not gonna lie, my main reason for going into this company is because their price was low and it was easy for me to get my goal of 5,000 shares. No cap. That's that's one of the reasons. But I also did my research into the company as to like what it is, who owns it, different things like that. But that was like 3 years ago. I don't remember. So with that company, one of my main reasons was their share price. So it was like $1 for like a year, and then it went up to like $2. So now all the shares that I bought at $1 are now worth double the amount. Can't lose. Again, and this company doesn't not doesn't, but at the time they weren't paying dividends either. So it's all about the long game. When it comes to investing, don't think short term, because short term you're not gonna make anything. All you can do is lose your money. So you have to think about it long term. So long term with this particular company, they paid out a dividend this year, and I have 5,000 shares. I mean, $500. I don't remember the percentage. What the percentage was? It was probably like 10 cents per share or something like that. I don't know. 5,000 divided by 500. What's that answer? See, yo, my math. Yeah, so it's like 10 cents per share. Um, And passive income, I did absolutely nothing. So that was the first time I actually got paid out from that company. And that was this past year, so 2022. So with that one, okay, add another 500 to the 500 they gave me, and I bought 1,000 shares. Not 1,000 shares, sorry, $1,000 worth of shares is what I went and bought with what the price is now. And that is gonna continue to grow if they keep paying. Like, either way, I'm gonna keep putting into it, right? Because at the end of the day, I want those dividends not to be 500. I want them to be 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand, 60K. Like, that's the ultimate goal. So if it's all about compound interest, guys. Compound, compound, compound. Compound means consistency to me. Because if you do the same thing every single month for 5 years, it's not going to be the same thing as it started. So again, just think long term. Just think long term. And I'm hoping I'm giving you some motivation as to how you can do it. Because like I said, I only started really like taking it serious in 2020. It's 2023. And everything that I'm telling you is from 2022. So we don't even have two and a half years from the last end of 2019 when I started to take it serious. But 2020, I gave myself a budget and I stuck to it. 2021, gave myself a budget and I stuck to it. 2022, gave myself a budget, halfway stuck to it. This is where I'm at. And when I say halfway stuck to it for 2022, because my goals changed a little bit for 2022, but that's a different topic. But at the end of the day, I still did 20K worth of money towards investing because I did my $400 per week. I never stopped in my $400 per week. My $400 per week every month just did not go to investing some months. It went to investing into my business. Sometimes it went to investing towards my 6 months worth of what you call it, my 6 months worth of expenses, because nobody's job is promised. Nobody's job is promised. So I'm prepared. I'm prepared for not having a job for 6 months. So I can get fired today. Well, tomorrow, because tomorrow's a Monday. I can get fired tomorrow and I'll be okay for 6 months. I won't have to worry about a thing for 6 months. And I like having that. And that's something that you should look forward to as well. But again, that's something completely different from investing. Again, that comes into budgeting, to saving, to, oh my dear, I could like go on for days with this, but I'm gonna stick to the investing. So that is BAS. And the last company that I have is Argus Insurance. Well, you'll know what Argus Insurance is because you pay them every week or every month, depending on, well, not necessarily you, but you know what it is, right? So Argus Insurance is the other company that I own. So I only own those three companies. Those are the only three local companies that I own a piece of. Um, so with Argus, they actually like, it's the best thing that ever happened. So like I said, I started investing. So there's this person called the registrar. The registrar is the person that is in charge of like the shareholders or something like that. Don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure, but that's the person that sends me my emails about my shares, okay? The registrar. So the registrar, like, they called me, like, hey, can you come in, Miss Robinson? I see you bought some shares into our company. We'd like to talk to you about your future with the company, blah, 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 blah. So basically, I enrolled myself into the DRIP program, which stands for Dividend Reinvestment Program, DRIP. And that's the program that you want with every company that you get into. Because I'm about to go to One Communications and see if they have that program. Because I would rather them give me more shares than the money. No, like no cap. I would rather them give me more shares than give me my money. So the way the DRIP program's dividend reinvestment program works is, like, mentioned, I get paid dividends. So instead of me receiving that money from the company, they buy more shares of the company with that money. So I don't even want to go back because yeah, every so again, most of the it seems like most of the companies in Bermuda pay out twice a year, which is fine by me. So like I said, I invested into this program, enrolled into this program, sorry. And so even during that time that I was not like I said, I started back in what 2016, 2017, and I just didn't do anything. And that's when had they caught me one time like, hey, this is a way you can like make your money, make money type thing. Should do it, whatever. And I did it. So seeing these emails every 6 months showing me that my amount of shares keep going up, going up, going up every 6 months. Say I started with 200 shares, right? 200 shares, my payout was like $12. $12 bought me 3 shares. So now I have 203 shares. So the next time it comes around, 203. So maybe my payout's $15. Shares at that time with $3. I got 5 new shares. And it just keeps going up, going up, going up, going up, just like that. So now when I caught on to it, it's like, man, if I start putting more, if I start going and actually buying more shares, it'll double a lot faster. And that's what I did. To this day, I am still not at 5,000. However, after next month, I will be. Just putting that out there. And that was my goal from 2020 is to have 5,000 shares in all these companies, and you can see how long it's taken me to get there. But I've also talked about the side thing that I did, kind of, which is my US account. Because if I didn't do that, I would have been had more than 5K at Argus. And my thing with Argus is I am okay with not doing it right away because I know it's gonna double on its own every time. Like, so once I noticed it kept going up, like, so now my shares are going my my amount of shares are going up, and my dividend is going up. It's like, so then I had monetary goals of how much I want to make. Right. So now it's like, okay, it's $15 is what I left off at, right? Let's get this to $30. How many shares do I need to go and buy to get it to $30? Did that. 50. Let's go. Let's get $50 back from this place. And then each time, like I said, I'm not taking the money, so the $50 is $50 worth of shares. So each time, each time, each time, each time. And that's the goal. So then it's like, yeah, let's get 100. Let's get $100. Let's see. And I believe they just sent this email. So I'm going to say, let me see if I can find it. Because, like I said, I'm still not at 5,000 shares, right? So now I can tell you this: my goals now are more towards how many shares I can get versus how much money I can get. That's where my mindset has changed now. So I started from, let's see if I can find the first one. So I started in 2018. There you go. That's that. So I started with 350 shares. It's the amount that I bought. The share price at the time was $3.84. The dividend rate was 0.09 cents, so 9 cents per share. That got me, oh, so I started off at $30. Okay, so my dividend amount was $31. With that $31, they bought me 8 new shares. So that's that. I'm gonna go to the next share because I'm not gonna do each one individually. So that's 2018 versus 2019. It's the end of 2019. 2019. I didn't buy any more shares. 3. I feel stupid saying that. So now I have 366 shares. Maybe I did buy a few because that math ain't mathing. No, because I skipped uh, a piece in between. That's why, yes. So now I got 10 new shares at 9 cents per share. So my dividend was $32. So it's going up each time. And this is with me not putting more money into it, guys. This is just me saying I'm not putting any more money into it. Like, this is it doing its thing for me. This is where you call your money working for you. The next one after that, I got 11 new shares. Again, did not put any money into it. I skip forward to 2023. I got 78 new shares. So now my goal is to get 100 new shares. That's it. That's my goal. Like, I'm not telling you the dividend amount. You're just gonna have to go do the math yourself, okay? But now my goal, also I can say, is that the price of the share is going up as well. So remember just now I was saying it's like $3 and something cents. So COVID did very well for the insurance companies. Let me just tell you that, because it doubled it, because the stocks went up to like $6 and like 30 cents or something like that. So when I was buying in 2020, I was buying at a higher price, therefore I'm getting less shares, type thing. But now 2023, the back is down a bit, so it's $5.79 to go buy a share in August. So now with the price going down, my money gets me more shares. Like, it's all about the fluctuation, right? So you have to be okay with the fluctuation of the market and stuff like that. And this is where long-term investments come in. So like I said, I'm not at 5,000 shares yet. I will be there by the end of this year. I think I'll probably be at 6,000 by the end of this year. I think that's a fair enough goal to get 2,000 shares. When you really think about it, though, right? Yeah, if I could buy 2,000 shares, if no, I'll do 1,000 before the next payout, and then by the next payout, I should get my 100 shares free. No, well, not free, but from my dividends, like, you know what I mean. And then if I do another 1,000, then it should be like 150. Like, this is like, it's compound, guys. Like, if you're not watching me on YouTube right now, I have a huge smile on my face, because that's what excites me. Like, that excites me, that what I'm doing is paying off. So once I get to, I don't even know when I'm gonna stop doing the dividend reinvestment program. Like, I really don't. At this point, I have no time or date for that. I just want to grow it, 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 grow it. It's like I said, I'm trying to be making passive income. This is money that just comes into my pocket, like it just falls in my lap. Like, literally, that's what it is. And you have to look at it that way. You guys need to shift your mindset of, oh, I don't have $2,000. Well, let me start at a lower amount, because 2,000 may be a lot for you, or for anyone that's listening to this. So let's say I don't have $200 I can give away. Don't think of it like that. Think of it as, this $200 can be worth $1,000 in 2 years. This $200 can be worth $2,000 in 10 years. Like, you have to look at it in years, not in what can I get tomorrow, what can I get next week. You have to look at it in the year value. You have to look at it long term. That's all I ask of you. If you're gonna look into investing, I'll give you 3 points for, if you're gonna start investing. These are my 3 points of advice. I am not a financial advisor, so don't come for me. But I can prove, I have receipts that I have done it, so I know that you can too, right? 3 things. One, research the companies that you're going to buy into and make sure you stand by them. Like, these are companies that you support, companies that you like. For example, you like Nike, you wear a lot of Nike, buy Nike. Watch the YouTube. Simple as that. Like, literally simple as that. Like, the way that I really started was, buy what you use, or buy who you pay. I think that's the easy way of putting it. Buy who you pay. So this is why I started with One Communication and Argus. Argus is my insurance. One Communication is my cell phone and my internet. I pay these two people every month. So why not make them pay me every year? That's step one. 2, save. Set a budget and save. You have to have a budget and save. That's step 2. Have you set your budget. Everyone's budget is going to be different. I do $1,600 a month. Just because I do it does not mean you have to do it. Because I could tell you, if I weren't doing $1,600 a month, bro, I'll be traveling every single month. That $1,600 will be a trip, but that's not my goal right now. So I'm trying to work towards my dividend set being that goal. So that's number 2, right? Is save and set your budget. Find an amount that works for you. And 3, consistent. Stay consistent. Because if you don't stay consistent, you're not going to see any growth. I just showed you my first 2 years. There was no growth. 5, 10. Like, the amount of shares that I got back went up by like 2, right? Versus now, because I put money into it each time, it goes up tremendously. And like I said, my next goal is 100 to get 100 shares back from the company. So let's go over it again. Number 1, do your research. Find a company that you can support, that you like, that you think is going to go somewhere, and see if they pay dividends. I forgot to mention that. If you're not doing it in Bermuda, see if they pay dividends. If you are doing it in Bermuda, most of them pay dividends. And also, if you are doing it in Bermuda, my advice is buy from the people that you pay. All the insurance companies are on there. All the banks are on there. Like a couple other people. If you got Watlington Water, they're on there. Like different things. So everything is different for everyone. So if you pay Watlington Water every month, go buy Watlington Water shares. Mind you, Watlington Water is expensive, but the dividends are high. Like high. If I had like the amount of shares that I have in August, if I had that at Watlington Water, bro, the money would be like triple the amount that I'm getting from August. I'm just gonna say that. But again, so number 1, buy from your research. Oh my dear, mumbling my words. Do your research. And my advice is buy from who you pay. Because at the end of the day, you pay them every month, so the business isn't going anywhere, right? That's my logic behind that. That's me, not a financial advisor, just my advice. 2, what did I save? Save and do your budget. Make a budget that works for you. Make a decision to put aside X amount of dollars every week, every day, every month, however it is you make your money. Make that conscious decision to do that. 3, be consistent with it. Because if you're not consistent, it's not gonna grow the way that you want to grow. It's not gonna grow the way that you hear me talking about how my investments have grown over the past couple years. So I think that is it that I have to say. Those are my 3 things that I'm ending with, yo. And I hope y'all have a blessed day. If you listen to the entire podcast of me talking by myself, let me know if you enjoyed it. Like, my Instagram is at SIKUDHANISR. Excuse me. Or you can hit me up on the Black Excellence Club at SR Black Excellence Club. That's on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Or even on YouTube, drop a comment, because at the end of the day, I need to know what you guys think about these, like, especially if it's just me by myself. I feel like I rambled a little bit, but I also feel like I got my points across, and I really hope that someone gets something from this. And I really hope that if someone is listening to this and they decided to 1, do their research, 2, set that budget, and 3, stay consistent, hit me up. Like, let me know that you're doing this, because I want to give you that encouragement that you may not be getting, that encouragement that you may need to see to keep you going, to keep you consistent. Like, I want to be that person for you. So yeah, that's it for today's episode. My name is Sikudhani Robinson. I am your host of the Black Excellence Club, and I am on a journey from unknown to unforgettable. And you just heard a little portion of my journey from unknown to unforgettable. Deuces.